Hello my lovely gamers, my name is Jonah and today we're taking a look at when and how to use Deflect as a Genji, which has been requested a lot of times down in the comments on the Discord server. So many people wanted me to talk about it. I finally gotten around to actually talk about it, so let's just jump right into this. Now, to start off, I'll later on talk about certain abilities and certain ultimates and how you can deflect them and what you should do to deflect them, how you should time it correctly. But right now, I want to first start like when and how do we actually deflect, just to get the mentality down, just to get the theory behind it. And it's so basic and simple that you already know it, but it's real nice to mention. We deflect either to reduce damage for ourselves or for our teammates. You can actually jump in front of a teammate and deflect just to reduce, make sure that they don't take any damage, or we use it to deal damage or deal the effect to the enemy. And normally it's kind of a combination of that, right? So we deflect a Mccree shot, a bullet from him, and we try to hit him with it, right? But we deflect it so that we don't take that damage, but we also do it so that he can take that damage so that we have an advantage going into a fight with him. In general, deflect is super good because you can either get a pick, even if the guy in big team fights, even if the guy that you're deflecting towards is not shooting at you, doesn't mean the rest of the enemy team is not going to shoot at you because you don't think like that. A lot of people in competitive, hell, a lot of people that I meet in scrims and even in tournaments don't always feel about the fact that, okay, he's not deflecting towards me, so it doesn't matter if I shoot at him. So they just they'd shoot directly at you, but you're aiming at someone else from their team, dealing their damage to that guy, giving you a huge advantage. And it happens so many times, and that's one of the things. So pressing deflect, even if it seems not to be doing anything, can actually be doing a lot. Just because the one guy is not going to shoot at you doesn't mean the rest of the team is not going to. Now, it's very important to not waste deflect. So by wasting deflect, it essentially means by just pressing it at random given times, and that's why I'm going to talk a little bit about when to use them. Now, when to use deflect, first of all, is come to more team-based fights. If you're standing in your main group, the enemy team is in their main group, a lot of pressing deflect, especially at certain abilities as a fire strike and just in general, it is really nice so you can deflect all of those away from your team and directly over to the enemy team. And especially if you know I won't be needing deflect for a couple of, and then like you know that next time that you probably do the engagement that you have to spend your deflect, it's already back on cooldown. And therefore, of course, it's nice to know that Deflect has an 8-second cooldown. So if you know that, okay, I'll press Deflect now, and the enemy team might be here, the engagement team fight will have probably started in about 5-6 seconds, and you know, okay, it's okay that I use Deflect now, because I will not, when the team fight starts, I usually don't burn my Deflect immediately. Then I usually burn my Swift Strike first and using the damage combo there, and then after that I will have to use my Deflect. So then you know you have this timing in your head, so then it's okay to just deflect a huge amount of damage towards the enemy team to break their shield, make someone weak, hopefully get a pick, and also making sure that your team, your shields, does not take that amount of damage. But of course, be cautious about it. If they have a Widowmaker, you know that you might have to go for that Widowmaker soon. You might not want to have burned your Deflect. The same if you need to go for that Mccree or someone else. Then you might not want to spend your deflecting random damage when 2 seconds later you have to go into an engagement where you will need Deflect very quickly. Now the heroes that we're going to take a look at today is Zarya. We're going to take a look at Hanzo, Junkrat, Mccree, and Reinhardt. I found that those to be some of the heroes that I think that it's important to talk about. And if there's any questions down below, then you can always ask me those and I'll try to respond to it if there's anything that you really want to know when to time your deflect at. You know what, let's just start off with Mccree. And what is Mccree with normal deflect is of course his flashbang. And it's very easy to deflect flashbang, and it essentially does that you can win. If he managed to land a flash on you, you have most likely lost that fight unless you get team support somehow, or you have brought him super low. He's really low on HP in the beginning, because a good Mccree will flashbang you and then land a headshot on you, and if you haven't taken any damage at all, then you're dead. Then you will survive that unless he lands one more body shot, and even if he doesn't land a body shot immediately, he'll probably land it towards that fight, or he'll take a really like quote-unquote scrub move and flashbang you and then run straight into you and fan to hammer you, which can kill you. this is really bad for you, because normally what will happen is in the engagement between you and the Mccree that you will take some kind of body shot damage, or you will take some kind of damage from the team. So when he finally gets in, lands the flashbang and the headshot, you are instantly dead, and you need to deflect the flashbang. And it's so easy. Mccree's, when you want to think about, okay, when should I use my deflect, you just need to jump into the head of your opponent. When is it logical for your opponent to use their ability? If you are like 20 meters away from the Mccree, he's not going to try to flashbang you because you're far out of range. However, if you dash to him, when you have dashed onto him, he will try to flashbang you. So for example, dashing so that you hit him, but you get right behind him, he will most likely try to do a 180 and throw a flashbang at you. That's when it's really good for you to have deflect. When you then turn around, toss your shuriken, and you see him turning on you, use your deflect. The same if he's holding a high ground, he knows that you are coming, or he will see you when you finally wall climb up to him. You wall climb up to him or dash up to him. You are so close to him now. His first self-defense mechanism is stun the guy. So what does he do? He tosses flashbang. Doing that almost instantly when you are done wall climbing, you might be able to toss shurikens to do a melee, but you should almost instantly pop your deflect so that you don't get hit by the stun and deflect that straight back at him. And what's really important to remember when it comes to deflecting the flashbang straight at him, don't just stand and look at him. When you have deflected the flashbang, try to dash through him one more time, right? So that you put him constantly out. If you just deflect the flashbang and just stand there with your deflect up, the flashbang effect will be off when your deflect is down, and the only thing that you then achieved was not getting stunned yourself. However, if you can deflect the flashbang and then dash him straight after, you get a better position on him than what he will have on you, since you cancel your deflect animation. Mccree also has High Noon, and essentially how you want to do High Noon is most Genjis pop it way too early. As soon as they hear it's High Noon, they instantly press deflect and start aiming directly at Mccree. You need to take your time. I normally in my head, like unwillingly almost, like it's just an instinct, I don't do it like and notice it, but I know that when I hear it's High Noon and the seed goes off, I really quickly think 1001, 1002, and then I press deflect. It takes about a little bit over a second for him to do the proper lock onto, and he won't shoot if he hears the deflect too early. He will try to shoot as soon as he sees the dead skull, as soon as he has a full lock onto that will kill you. As soon as that is on, he will shoot if you haven't pressed deflect by then. You want to try to press deflect as close to that lock on, so you can deflect the entire damage straight at him. And the best way to do that is to stay calm, go on to Mccree yourself, go into practice range, shoot the bot so you build High Noon, and then count in your head really quickly, 1001, 1002, then you see when it locks, and then you shoot. That's the time that you need to have timed in your head, so that when you hear the High Noon, you can kind of visualize from his point of view, okay, it's locked now. And when you then think now, a little bit before that, because of hit registration and reaction time and stuff like that, you deflect and aim directly at him. And try not to be too obvious that you try to deflect it by standing like dead still. I'm noticing that I'm going a little bit way into detail. I'll try to skip it up a little bit now, speed up my speech, because this video has become way longer than what I'm really wanted to, because I don't like making a lot of long videos. I know that a lot of people don't like 10-minute videos and all that shit, so I'm trying to speed it up now. If you have any questions of future details, then drop them down as a comment. I'll respond to them either in the video or in the comments. So let's just jump straight on to Reinhardt. Now, the only thing that we're really interested in when it comes to Reinhardt is, of course, his Fire Strike. And this is really, really good. If the Reinhardt is chasing you, and this is like the easy thing to deflect. I don't have to tell you when to deflect it, but you should always try to deflect Fire Strikes directly back at Reinhardt or directly back at his team. If you think about something like Nepal Village, a lot of time on Nepal Village, both Reinhardts, if both teams run Death Ball, they will run onto the high ground. Top left from one of the teams, top right from the other team. And the first thing that will happen is both Reinhardts will fire their Fire Strike down these small choke doors and hit something. If you can deflect the enemy Reinhardt's Fire Strike, then first your Reinhardt will land his, dealing 100, and then you will reflect the other one, dealing another 100. So if those two land to a standard support hero or something, that support hero is instantly dead. And that's what you want to do. You want to reflect the Fire Strike so that, first of all, the enemy Reinhardt doesn't get any ult charge. None of your teams take damage, because 100 damage is a lot. It's half the HP of a standard DPS hero or a support hero. And also so that you actually build some nice ult shot, you apply some pressure to the enemy team. Maybe the Ana has to use her nade or whatever, because a lot of time when Fire Strike is fired, it's either in a kind of choke where both of the teams just standing wiggling in front of each other, and then it doesn't matter that you burn your deflect, because you will have it before you need it in the next engagement. Or will happen in the early beginning / in the middle of a team fight, where everyone most likely already is low on abilities, low on HP and stuff like that, and therefore deflecting these fire strikes directly back at the enemy team can do immense damage to them, and hopefully give you a kill secure. Then we have Junkrat, and Junkrat is one of the heroes that is easy to kill with his own deflect. While you have to watch out for his concussion mind, which is really hard to actually get a proper deflect on because they normally explode before they hit your hit deflect hitbox, the most important thing is to be able to deflect his standard grenades from his frag launcher. And the best way to do this is the same kind of tactic as with Mccree. He will fire them, and they will always fire. Like Junkrat just spams. It's just like in a Junkrat's nature to just fire as much as they can. If they see you deflecting, a lot of times they will stop. So if you do it at longer ranges, where there's travel time of the projectile, it's really hard to deflect a proper bomb directly at him. However, if you're really close, so if you manage to get close to him, he will of course either concussion mine you, will blast you into distance, or even better, he will just instantly shoot. What I like to do is not to dash through Junkrat, but if I can, I will try to take some kind of high ground, wall climb, do something so I can kind of drop, be very unexpectedly close to him without using my dash. So close that using concussion mine is kind of not, is kind of weird for him. I'm in melee range, let's say like that. I'm as close almost as I can get to him, and then just pop deflect, because his first reaction is, he's so close to me, oh, but it's super easy for me to land my mines now. He will shoot at least one, get hit by it, and then you can just dash through him, and he is essentially a free kill. Just watch out that you don't stand on top of his passive ability. Then we have Hanzo, and again, same with Mccree, his high noon and stuff like that. You need to understand the charge time of an arrow, and about how much time it takes for an Hanzo to actually land a arrow. You can also see when he scatters, and I'll talk really quickly about those. So when it comes to Hanzo, you can see him when he's aiming at you. It's very easy. You can kind of imagine yourself, if you play a little bit of Hanzo, how much charge time his arrow has, and he will shoot when it's about someplace in between 70 to 100% of fully charged. That's when they will normally shoot, and that's also when it's normally something scary, because that's about when it starts getting the range where if he lands the headshot, you're one tap dead. So at those times, deflecting the arrows is of course really good. His scatter arrows are some of the easiest thing to predict, because you will see the Hanzo not aiming directly at you, not looking at you, he will look at the ground. And therefore it's so easy to imagine it, and he cannot pay too much attention. As soon as you see him charging his arrows, he'll start aiming downwards. That's when, okay, when he is about to get close to the floor, I'll press deflect, and when he shoots, the scatter arrow won't really do a lot to me, and hopefully will do a lot to him. However, a lot of time, the Hanzo is known for the very famous Hanzo Zarya combo, where he will Dragon Strike inside of a Gravaton. If you are Genji and note that this is kind of advanced and this is kind of hard to pull off and not as 100% consistent, but if you know that the Hanzo has Dragon Strike and you know the Zarya has Gravaton, and you're pretty sure that that's gonna be the next combo, what you should do as a Genji is try to look for where the Hanzo is standing. And when he wants to Dragon Strike in the grab, you make sure that, of course, that you don't get caught in the grab yourself, and then you get so close to him that when he's about to cast his ult, you can drop in front of him, you can dash in front of whatever, and then you can deflect the dragon away from your team. This is a quite advanced thing, because you need to flank, you need to stay undetected, you need to really know the game, and okay, are they gonna use these ults and stuff like that? But in general, it's very easy. You can also just look for, if the Zarya is looking for the Graviton, a lot of time the Hanzo is just standing a little bit further back, ready to use his Dragon Strike. And now it comes to the thing that I think most of you guys actually wanted specifically also videos on: when to deflect a Graviton surge, because that's what the bro does, and that's so cool. Deflecting Gravitons, just similar to deflecting the Hanzo arrow and deflecting Widowmaker shots back at the Widowmaker and stuff like that, is very inconsistently, especially in higher ranks where Zaryas know that the Genji is trying to deflect it. However, it's in general quite easy, especially in lower ranks. It's very telegraphic for when the Zarya wants to use her grabs. He will run straight forward towards you guys. He will just run past everything. You just kind of walk in front of her and press deflect. When if she's just running past your entire team, it's just okay. She's running past her entire team. I press deflect. She will either grab now or just pure panic because your team is scattering and they're shooting at her. Or she will not do that, and she will either not get a lot of people, except maybe you, and or she will be killed by your team because she's in the middle of everyone. And that's really the easiest way. You can also try to get, if she's a little bit better than that, try to get some kind of high ground. Again, because if she sees you in the main group that she wants to deflect a lot of time, she will get enough team support, enough healing, whatever, defense measure to save her bubbles, to survive most of your focus fire. So she'll just wait until those 2 seconds of your deflect is gone, and then she will fire it afterwards. And this is where you come in. By in general, just like kind of just, okay, she's rushing forward, she's getting ready, you kind of just drop in front of her, very, very close, and start to try deflecting. That can be, maybe she will trigger the gravaton. But that's normally the two ways. She's either very, very telegraphic about it, she'll be hiding on high ground, where you can kind of just like sneak very close to her, so when she peeks out and about to grab you, just run in front of her. You wait until she kind of just runs past your team or into your team, tries to grab, then you kind of just go close to her and press deflect to deflect the graviton. That's just kind of just stay with your team and then deflect. Or you can try to take a high ground, then kind of jump in front of her, drop in front of her to deflect when you think she's about to do it. However, this is very, very inconsistent, especially against very good Zaryas. Besides that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very sorry it became so long. This is one of the more advanced topics to talk about Genji. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. If you have anything that you want to make a topic on, make a video about, then drop that also down in the comment. And as always, guys, my name is Genji, and you've been me in your process.